there's a reason for that. It's funny. We were in San Francisco, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at a seminar, and we were having lunch with a chiropractor and his team from New Jersey, and we just come to find out that Dr. Levine's dad is actually seeing that specific upper cervical chiropractor. He just found out. When did you find this out?
Today.
Today. You didn't even realize his dad has been seeing the same guy. My entire family receives this care. My sister and her family in outside of Denver, Colorado, they receive this care. So we practice what we preach. You know what I mean? So what you're seeing is real, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, I was talking with one of our patients today. At 21 years old, I don't know, he's older. I think he's maybe 23 years old or so. He was twitching so bad, and he had all the way through high school, that he didn't have a normal childhood. You know what I mean? Imagine being in high school. You know how hard high school is, right? And in New York, let alone, right? And he's twitching. You know, imagine the torment this kid went through. But he's going through all this stuff, and he just does his own research, because he went well, I'll tell you, he went to the MDs, he went to the neurologists, he went to the chiropractors, he went to all these places, and he still had his issue. He actually does his own research, asks his chiropractor, he says, what do you think about this thing called NUCCA? He says, yeah, it's good, go check it out. So he comes over, he starts getting taken care of, and his name's Blake. Read his review on Google, it's incredible. But people were reading his review, and then they got in the office, you know. I ended up as a NUCCA patient suffering with fatigue so bad that I fell asleep. I don't know if any of you have been so tired you fell asleep driving. Yeah, you've been through that? I fell asleep, and I mean, I was a young kid. It was not like I was, old guy, but at the same time, I'm driving through a construction zone, barrels flying over my car. Thank God nobody was working there. Probably would have killed people. And for me, it was like, something's got to change. After being through the doctors at the schools, which aren't usually the best, but going through that, you guys remember the caffeine pills, ephedrine? I know you know about the ephedrine, right? Remember that stuff? Okay, but the stimulants, jacking myself, no dose, all those caffeine pills, all that crazy stuff. So done with it. I got to find out what's going on. And Peter, what I did was I researched on my own, because the doctors weren't giving me real answers. And I found out about chronic fatigue and NUCCA, and I drove to Chicago from Iowa. I drove to Chicago to go see Dr. Dickholz. And that man it wasn't right away. It wasn't like a miracle. Like he touched my neck and it took 3 months. But as a 22-year-old guy suffering for about 3 years with this thing, it brought me back. And that's why I get checked now. Because as soon as, it's not like a miracle thing. You got to maintain it. You don't get fit. You don't look like this guy in 2 weeks, right? He's been working out for him. So at the same time, you gotta keep on doing things that work. Does that make sense? I mean, it's a part of a lifestyle. You got to do things that are healthy and work. And that's why I'll be checked till I'm dead. That's why my family will be checked till we're dead. Because we know when we're checked, we're living better. Does that make sense? We're living better when we have full connection. So guys, tonight's about you. We're going to discuss how to get the best, fastest results. The mission's simple. It's to serve as many people as we can. Serve as many people as we can. I was blessed to come across Dr. Dickholz. The man practiced till he was 93. He retired. Guess what happened?
Died.
He died. Within 3 months, he was gone. He lost his purpose. But the man, he dedicated his whole life. He in practice over 60 years, doing this work, mastering it. And I learned from him. I learned from an amazing genius of a guy, guru in Seattle. I practiced in Seattle, Dr. Lee Yardley, Kiwi, for 2 years in Seattle, and then was able to be gracious enough to bring the practice, this type of practice to South Florida. The first one to bring NUCCA to South Florida in 2008. And then since then we've trained 12 doctors, and it's been a beautiful thing. But it's about serving people. You get taken care of. You say, hey, that makes sense. Check me out, doc. It's families. That's how this all works. Your family's here. I'm sure your family will be here. And that's how this all works, guys. So we know this thing is bigger than just the physical, and I think you guys will get this. That what I just said is I feel clear. I didn't say I had a neck pain or a back pain. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say It's a mental thing, it's a physical thing, because health is multifaceted. There's more to it, right? So when we're talking about health, guys, we're talking about you being able to be at your peak performance. Did anybody see that picture of Michael Phelps?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Where he's looking straight ahead, and that guy, LaRue, or whatever his name is, he was looking at him, and it was like, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. I like that. That was good. But anyhow, health is a big deal in regards to what we're after here. When people think of the chiropractor, they think of bones in your spine. That's what people think of. So you go get the bones of your spine taken care of. Nerves are part of this and pain's part of this, but you got to realize nerves are the main thing here. The only reason why we're focused on getting the pressure off the brainstem is because that's a connection between your brain and every other tissue of your body. Every single muscle, every organ, whether it's your digestive system, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your pancreas, every part of your body connects back to your brain. This is how your body works. This is the system, this is the flow of life through your body. 96% of your body can't feel pain. It doesn't have what's called a pain receptors, nociceptors. You can't feel pain in 96% of your body. And that's why you hear these stories of people that have cancer throughout their whole body and they don't even know it. They don't have any pain, right? Until it's too late. You hear these stories. There's stories of people that, they say, gosh, and I just had a patient say, oh, my daughter got an x-ray or a scan of her abdomen, and they found a huge tumor in her lung field. And she didn't even know, she didn't have any pain. So the point of that is that, guys, the pain is important because I understand nobody wants pain, but at the same time, I'm more interested in, hey, let's get that nervous system free. Let's open up that nervous system. Let's make sure we check and connect the body. So of course pain improves, but that the body functions the way it's supposed to. So your nervous system is really what this thing all comes down to. Nervous system is what everything starts with. Meaning, I've got my wife's 16 weeks pregnant. Again, I know it's all my fault. And in her belly right now, we got a beautiful baby being developed. But check this out. So even at 4 weeks in utero, there's 8,000 nerve cells that are being created every single second, just like that. 8,000 cells being created, nerve cells. And the brain, the spinal cord, and the little nerves that go out to all the organs of the body, that's the first system to develop because it's the master system. That's where everything else is derived from. So at the full development, there's 70 trillion cells in the body. 70 trillion cells in the body. And what runs this is this inborn intelligence. So there's an innate intelligence that's inside of all of us. There's intelligence inside of all living things. How do you know that? Well, if you cut yourself, your body's going to heal it. You break a bone, is it the cast that heals it? The body. The body. The second you break a bone, there's healing properties that are being sent to that area to actually create a callus, to create more strength in an area, because your body responds to stress. That's the reason why you get degeneration. If your body's out of normal alignment, it's going to put abnormal stress in an area of your body, and that's when you're going to get bone spurs. Like bones will literally grow in that area. You guys know what I'm talking about? Bone spurs. That's a reaction. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, right? That's a reaction of stress. You put stress on an area, the body's going to try to protect it and create bone spurs. The problem is, it's also collapsing in around structures that are not supposed to have bone there. So you get a bone spur jetting back into a nerve, yeah, now you wonder why your arm's numb, right? Or you get the pinching. You guys get what I'm saying? So everything in the body is designed around making sure that your body comes back to healing, to balance. They call it homeostasis. You guys have heard of that? So your entire system, everything in the universe is actually trying to strive towards balance. Your heart rate's trying to strive towards balance, your breathing mechanism, your blood pressure, everything's trying to stay in balance. Our goal is not to try to treat the effect. You know, you go to the MD and you got high blood pressure, they're going to try to lower your blood pressure. They give you a pill, typically, right? That's true? Mm-hmm. Okay. You got low blood pressure, they're going to give you a pill, try to increase it. You got your heart's beating too fast, they're going to try to lower it. You guys get the idea. Your blood sugar's too high, your blood sugar's too low, yada, 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 right? So you're trying to treat circumstances as opposed to really trying to figure out, well, why is the pancreas not kicking out the proper amount of insulin to regulate the blood sugar? Is it kicking it too much or too little? Well, why? Why is the heart having to work so hard to try to keep the blood pressure regulated? Why? So that's actually the most powerful question you could ask yourself. Why is this a circumstance? As opposed to just saying, all right, let's pop this pill and hope it creates the proper circumstance. Because ultimately, is that really going to change the function of those organs? No, not really. It may chemically alter how that organ functions, but it's not going to change the why. So if we don't address the why, that situation, we're basically covering up until that thing explodes. You get what I'm saying? That's a practice of medicine. It's really good at disease, trying to treat disease. It's not really good at getting you healthy. You guys see the difference? Big difference, and we'll come back to that. But the point is that this innate intelligence is what's running the show, meaning that this inborn of nature controls, heals, adapts. That's what allows your body to do what it does. You ate a lunch today, I imagine. Who ate something good today? Anybody ate something good for lunch? What'd you have, Matt?
Chicken salad.
Chicken salad, okay. When you had that chicken salad, your body brings that chicken salad down, creates this bolus of food, goes all the way down your esophagus, comes into your stomach. Your stomach starts to excrete into your bloodstream nutrients. And those nutrients go into your bloodstream, and those are actually exerted out into creating fuel, either fat or carbohydrates, or then transitioned or they're converted into fuel sources, right? You got the nutrients, the enzymes, you got the minerals, all the vitamins. All those things are being broken down to create new healthy cells. Mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? This is what your body's doing with food. It's creating new healthy cells. I mean, we don't think about this stuff, but that's what it's doing. That's what your body does. So the amazing part about this is that you put food in your body's going to break it down, and it's going to create new healthy cells. If they work properly. Because I can tell you this, you're only going to do that if that food is bioavailable. If you put that food in and there's shorts in the circuit, your digestion's slow. You guys heard of this, right? Irritable bowel, acid reflux, some people, all these other issues, right? If there's a short in the circuit, if there's some systems of the body that aren't working properly, you're either not going to get the proper nutrients, you're not going to utilize those nutrients. Those nutrients might not be broken down. Your blood sugar may spike. Your pancreas is now stressed. Your adrenals could be stressed. There's so many things that can go wrong inside the body. So this is not simple. This is not a simple thing. We just expect the body to do what it does. We take for granted what happens inside our body every single day. We totally take for granted what's going on. You guys get what I'm saying? We take it for granted. But what we know for sure is that the system that's going to make these other systems work best is make sure that brain is in control through your wiring, through your central nervous system. So coming straight back to that, subluxation is the condition. Sub means below, lux means light, and nation is a condition of less light in the body. That's what subluxation actually means. Condition of less light. So if there's a subluxation or a shift between where the head and neck comes together, it's going to create a short in that circuit. The brain is what's in control of everything. There's no brains in your heart. There's no brains in your stomach. There's no brains in your bum, although you might think otherwise. Okay. You have one brain, and the brain starts right up top. And so the brain signals need to flow to the organs. The organs need to send the message back to the brain. And that's a feedback loop. And that's what keeps your body in active organization, active control. There's a control to the chaos. And so the subluxation creates a disruption. It blocks the innate messages, the innate healing. It creates a state of dis-ease. Being that we know gravity always impacts the body, let's just start from mechanical. Just put away the neurological for a minute. From a mechanical standpoint, if your head and your neck are out of proper alignment, your head weighs 10 pounds. Okay? This is a 12-pounder. Now I'm going to help you hold that right by the rod. Okay? You got it? Okay. All right. Matt's going to hold that for the next 20 minutes of the workshop. And, so what's happening is, as he's having this thing bob and weave all over the place, that's a head that's actually, I tried to plant that right over. Is that straight up and down, Matt?
Yeah.
Is that about straight? Okay, you ready? All right, I'm gonna misalign it. You ready for this? Okay, I'm gonna misalign it there and there. You ready? Harder. Okay, you guys, you get the point? It's simple mechanics. if your head is straight, it's going to be a lot easier to balance over gravity. Okay, that's what we want. There should be a plumb. That's why we look at that alignment. We look to see if that head's pulled forward. If that head pulls forward, it changes the mechanics placed on all those joints of your body. It's going to wear your spine down faster. Okay, and it starts where the head goes. Wherever the head goes, the body goes. Right? Olympics, gymnastics, wherever the head goes, the body goes. So, being if that head shifts forward or slips to the side, that's a lot harder to hold than it is there. You guys get that? Simple mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the stresses are changed down the entire body. Okay, so it's gravity. So what we're looking at there, if the head and neck shift, what happens to the shoulders? And we talk about the posture, right? The shoulders will shift to compensate, right? You don't just walk around like this with everything perfect. Your body's going to fall and twist around that. And so what happens is now the shoulders will shift out of balance, the hips shift out of balance. So it makes sense, right? The lower back's usually going to light up. Usually where it goes. 80% of adults have back pain. 80%. This isn't an uncommon thing. The second most common reason people miss work is their back, next to a common cold. Okay, so this is a lot of people, right? So the head and neck shift, the shoulders shift, the back's out of balance. Now we're putting more stress on what? The hips. Guess what else? The knees, right? All the way down all the way down to the feet, right? So as people age, what do they talk about? Hips, knees, feet. Okay, because what happens is you don't get old bones, you have an old subluxation. Right? How old's the other side? It's the same age. There's a reason one side wears out faster than the other. Because the body's been in a stressed state. The body stays in a state of disease, what's next? Disease. What do you call it? Osteoarthritis, get a knee replacement, get a hip replacement, you can't replace spines. It's the only one you get. Right? So the point of this, guys, is that subluxation is going to stress down the entire body. And that's what creates those issues. So then we gotta ask the question, well, why? Well, why? You know, if I'm gonna poo-poo on medicine, if I'm gonna poo-poo on medicine and say, well, why? Then we better talk about, well, how do you get a subluxation? Subluxation is created by many things. So look, I've got the 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. They go head first, down the stairs. They go, they've been falling off the bed. They've done all those things. They get like a running start and like launch themselves head first into the sofa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a torpedo,
Right, yeah.
like 100 times in a row.
Right.
So they do these things, right? And then they go into the bounce house, and of course they collide heads, and they both knock out.
And then there was that gymnast,
The one that fell on. Did you see that?
I saw it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There was a volleyball player, and she cranked her neck, and she lost the match because of that. But accidents, work stresses, right? Computer. As much time as we're spending on the computer now. Right, we talked about that. You need to get up, move, stretch, posture, falls, childhood accidents. So even the birthing process, right? I just adjusted an 11-week-old today. He was born with his head. Have you ever seen these little kids with the helmets on?
Mm-hmm.
So they were all crunched in there, through the development process, and then they're born, and then their heads are flat, and so they usually crank them into a helmet. A lot of times, if you can just get their neck to free up, and then they can roll properly, their head's going to round out.
Right.
They round right out. Right. It's natural. But anybody think emotional stress affects you physically? 100%, right? 100%. When we're stressed, what does our blood pressure do? Go up. Muscle tension increases. Heart rate goes up. Digestion goes down, slows down, right? So we have this fight or flight response that our body goes through under times of stress. So emotional stresses absolutely affect us on a physical level. In fact, what I'll tell you is that it's going to affect your weak link. And so what we know is that most people have had emotional, let's just make it the 3 T's: thoughts, traumas, or toxins. And I don't have toxins up here. What would toxic be? What would be an example of something that's a toxin? Any thoughts, Peter? What about we talked about earlier? Food? Yeah, the quality of the food.
Right.
It's either
Junk food.
you got it. Yeah, you can't go and put fast food in your mouth on a regular basis and think that's going to create health.
Right.
That's going to be toxic. You know what I'm saying? What about a medication? Could a medication be toxic? Of course. Drugs, alcohol, all those things, right? We got that. Just because a medication has a label on it, it's a drug. It doesn't make it healthy. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it safe. Doesn't make it safe. There's more people right now that have prescription drug issues than have street drug issues. There's a lot more of them, okay? So we got to understand that. And then environmental toxins, right? You can even say the people you're around. You know, that stuff's important, you know? They're either toxic or not. So you got to, you know, be careful who you're around. So, you know, all these things are important, and that's why we're going to teach you, you know, be positive, you know, be optimistic, be around positive people. I can guarantee you, you keep a positive mindset about your health, it's going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. If you're that negative person, that nothing's going to ever work, doom and gloom, that everything's wrong, you're always on the internet looking for why things are falling apart.
Negative Nelly.
Yeah, the negative Nelly, you know what I mean? I see a lot of those people, and I'll tell you, they don't do as well as the people that are optimistic and are looking for the good things and are, you know, focused on how, whatever you focus on, you get. Is that fair? Whatever you focus on, you get. You focus on what's going well, you're going to get more of that. You focus on what's wrong, you tend to get more of that. So, you know, let's be aware of what's real. So, thoughts, traumas, toxins are important. We got to understand what causes self-esteem, but we got to understand how to protect as well. So, obviously, if you're one of those people that just, you got so much tension built up in your body that you felt like you needed to pop or twist your own spine, you got to stop doing that. And you'll feel like the tension that was building that made you want to do that, that's going to subside. That's going to reduce. So you really shouldn't continue to have that urge that you want to pop. And I understand why you're doing it. If your spine's locked up and you get that tension built up, you want to release it. But that should definitely reduce as you get going through your care. Sleep is really important. People don't really understand how important sleep is. You got to give yourself proper rest. I can tell you for sure, if you can turn off the TV at least 20 to 30 minutes before you go to sleep, or read before you go to sleep, do whatever, just do something to relax and chill and zen out before you go to sleep, you're going to get a lot higher quality sleep. You're going to feel more rested when you wake up. You're going to feel, you're going to give your body a chance to recharge. Sleep is really, really important now. There's even apps out now that you can measure, or even the Fitbits, you can measure the quality of your sleep. So that's an important thing. Posture is important as you sleep because you don't want to be, by the way, if you're in the bed and you're watching TV, you don't want to have 4 pillows under your neck with your head cranked up like this. It's going to wreck your alignment. Okay? Don't do that to yourself. So make sure you got, you know, 1 pillow. Sit up if you're watching whatever you're doing. Mattress, you want a firm mattress. You don't need to run out and buy a real expensive mattress, but you want to have a really firm, supportive mattress, and you want to have 1 good quality pillow. You're certainly always best sleeping on your back. So no matter what is going on, you're always best on your back. Now, some people can't because they snore or they have some other challenge where they can't do that, acid reflux, something like this, but side is definitely second best. Ask us at your appointment if you're a side sleeper, ask us which side specifically is better, because we can tell you based on your x-ray, okay? We can tell you which side is better and which side is worse, so make sure that you ask that question. But get a quality pillow. You know, you're going to be spending a third of your life sleeping, so make sure you have something that's supportive. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. Be aware to posture. Don't, you know, we're a lot of us are on the phones, so now we have text neck. You know, we're on our phones, we're down like this all the time. Again, what is it doing? Just like I talked about. If you put your head forward, it's putting your body in a compromised state. It's probably not good. So we just got to be aware of these things. You know, not like you're not going to text, but just be aware of it. Computer, you know, your posture at the computer. If you're melting into the monitor after you've been locked in on the computer for a couple hours, it's going to create issues. So we just got to be aware of that. And then also if you're in the car, a lot of you know, make sure you know your seat is upright. You know, you don't want to be lounging straight back, but you don't want to be hugging onto the steering wheel either. You've seen them driving on 95. You know what I mean? All locked in. You get rear-ended, you're done. So be careful with that. Massage. So massage is okay. If you guys are wondering, you know, should I get a massage? It's fine. Don't have anybody massage your neck. Okay? No girlfriends, nobody. Okay? Don't massage your neck. No massaging your neck. But shoulders down are perfectly fine. Specifically when you're getting your hair washed, you know, you throw your head back in the bowl, right? Puts pressure right on your atlas. I said something earlier about the weakest link. Understand, guys, your atlas is the only vertebrae in your entire body that doesn't have a disc, meaning you've got 24 bones in the body, 24 in the spine, I should say. And that top vertebrae, the atlas bone, is the only one that's freely movable. It's the only one. None of the other bones in your whole spine are freely movable. That's why we can turn our head like this, or you'll be able to soon. Okay? because that bone is only supported by muscle. There's no strong disc above or below it. That's what makes it different. It's the weak link in the whole line. The reason why we have that motion is so that we can turn our heads. The vulnerability of that is that you get the thickest part of your spinal cord going through the narrowest opening with the greatest movement. Did you guys catch all that? It's a conundrum. You got the greatest mobility, the thickest part of your spinal cord going through the narrowest opening. The least room for air. There's the least room for air through there. So any type of a shift starts to impede on the nerve flow. You guys get what I'm doing there? Did you guys see that? Any type of shift in that. And the longer it's there, the more it's going to lock in, because your body, again, it's a defense mechanism, is going to try to strangle that so it doesn't continue to diminish the quality of the life flow. So as we get you adjusted and it goes back, we get you adjusted and it goes back, we get you adjusted and it goes back, eventually it's going to start to stay. That's a sweet spot. That's when, of course, you're at your best physical, mental, emotional state of mind, and state of being, and state of health. And that's the place to get to. So when we talk about the weakness there, that's why we're so focused on that area. That's why there's over 12 techniques that are solely focused on upper cervical care. This happened to be the most specific, most scientific, most back barrel research, the NUCCA system. Exactly what you're receiving in this office. Okay? So be aware of the hair washing. Just slide yourself down in the bowl.
Oh.
Following me? Back of your head. Don't put it on your neck.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a trick.
Okay.
Same thing at the dentist. You know, it's uncomfortable. You're laying on your back, twist your neck, you open your mouth. It doesn't feel good. It's very strenuous on your neck. Go onto your side. Just roll. Just roll towards the hygienist. It's actually easier on them. The dentist and the hygienist. It's a lot better. Exercise is vital, guys. The body is made to be in motion. So you can say, I don't want to do it. Well, you have to. You got to do it. You got to get your body moving. Whether it's a walk, if it's an intense exercise, you know, this is a vital part of mental well-being for myself. But at the same time, physically, if you expect your body to perform, you've got to put a demand on it. You can't just expect your body to be able to stay in shape doing less and less with time. It's going to decline. Does that make sense? So be aware of that. We got to stay active. I'm not here to give you a lecture on exercise, but do what you enjoy. Do something. Get out there, enjoy it, because ultimately you're going to feel a lot better if you do it. You're going to feel a lot better if you do it. Water and healthy food. I mean, again, I'm not going to give a lecture. We do advanced workshops. We had one last Thursday. There was about 50 people here. It was awesome. But make sure you're putting quality food in your body. Again, this is a performance machine, and if you're going to expect performance, you got to put good fuel in. And that's what you should look at as, you know. Obviously, we want to eat things that we enjoy eating, but at the same time, be aware. You can't put junk in and think you're going to get good performance. Okay? So that's just a healthy reminder. Okay? And then time, guys. Everybody wants immediate results. Everybody wants immediate results. Everybody. And we do something that it's natural. Okay? It's not a pill. It's not always an instant change. Do instant changes happen? They do. Instant changes are happening. Every time you get an adjustment, your physiology is changing. Again, what you feel, you may feel that right away, you may not. But there's a change that happens every time you're getting a specific adjustment. Okay? The key on this, guys, is to get the adjustment when you need it, to not get it when you don't need it, but to make sure that each adjustment you get is building your body up to a point where your body can start to maintain at a very high quality, where your body's in the best position possible to actually correct itself. And you'll get there. You're going to get to a point. This is the truth of chiropractic. Chiropractic adjustments don't heal you. Maybe you've been told that. They don't. They don't heal you. Okay? Only your body heals itself. Only your body heals itself. Getting an adjustment is what's releasing that power inside your body for your body to improve its ability to take care of itself. And the goal of this is to get you to a point where you don't have to rely on a chiropractic adjustment, but your body can actually start to self-correct, to take care of itself. Does that make sense? I mean, there's always going to be stress. We always have stress in our lives. But how your body reacts to that. If your body can have a stressful situation, physical, chemical, or emotional, and it can actually self-correct, that's a sweet spot. Your body can actually adapt to the stress and come back to a normal, healthy position. That's the whole premise of this work, is to get you to that point. Okay, so your plan is designed specifically to get you to that. Does that sound good, guys? You guys understand what I'm saying? To a point where your body can take care of itself. So the one purpose we have, guys, I can't heal you. If I could, I'd just take care of all your symptoms. I'd tell you one visit, take care of all your symptoms. Everything's going to go away. It's groovy, broke. That's bogus, right? We can clear the interference. What we can do is we've measured. There's a system people developed that were, they were actually engineers. Engineers developed this system. They took engineering principles, they put them together with the biological sciences and anatomy and physiology, and they developed this system called NUCCA. And so these guys they're genius. They're out of Michigan. They created this back in the 60s, and it's just improved ever since. But we clear the interference and let the body start to hold. Nature, your body, the intelligence inside you, it already knows what it needs to do. We're just releasing the ability for your body to do that much better. Much better, much faster. Most people take care of their health like this. I feel bad, I'm sick. I feel okay, I don't do anything for my health. That's most people. Okay, I'm sick, I need to go see a doctor. When you go see the doctor, you get medications, the medications don't work, you're gonna get surgeries or shots. Right? So you're just gonna amp it up. We'll take pain pills, if that doesn't work, we're gonna shoot it up, right? Cortisone, whatever it is. If that doesn't work, we're jumping into surgery. This is the system that most people think is our healthcare system. Does that look healthy? That's our healthcare system. So our healthcare system is basically reactive. Wait till something really bad happens, and then do these things which really don't have anything to do with getting healthy. Okay. Where our focus is on this, guys, is that people often come in with many symptoms, not always, but many times. There's symptoms that drive them into this office. Okay. I would love if everybody came in and said, you know what, I'm just here to maximize my life force. That's what they wrote on their intake. I'm here to maximize my life force and make sure. May write that next time, right? Exactly. But the point is that we want to get, obviously, to a point where your corrective program is going to help your body to take care of itself. My faith is inside the body and the power to heal you. I know your body is made to heal. So working through that process of corrective care to the point where the symptoms start to diminish, of course. The stress on your body starts to diminish. The way your body adapts to stress improves. Your body's in an adaptation state. It's in a balanced state. That you're in complete, full life force as we go into more of a maintenance or a lifetime care. Where basically you're here just to maximize your body's ability to take care of itself. You come a lot less often, certainly costs a lot less money, but at the same time, you're able to continue to improve. Just had another guy come back today. He was coming, got out of pain, stopped coming. This was 2 years ago, right? 2 years, I think, as well. Just came back today. Guess what he gets to do? He gets to go through corrective care all over again. Because he didn't go back to here. Guess where he went back to? Here.